Okay, let's begin. Okay, so just to introduce class a little bit, so this is definitely a little bit of a slower class. It's most of the people who are maybe a little bit more frail. So I think I see some of you from other class, so you might find that this might be a little bit slower. So you can try it out to see if this is something that benefits you. But the idea is really just how can we kind of maintain our ability to move well as we get maybe quite a bit older, or quite a more stiff. Okay, so there are a couple of key things that we need to practice. Okay, so definitely we do need to do other stuff like maintaining our muscle mass, things like that. So we do need to do that. We do need to train our heart as well. But we also want to work on certain things, a certain control of our body that we kind of lose as we get older. So we're going to practice kind of four things today. So one thing is that we do know as we get older, we tend to be more and more this. Okay? So we need to work on what we call extension, and sometimes when we do things for Parkinson's exercise, we call it powering up. So how to extend our body against gravity. Okay, so that's something we should work on. So as we get older, we don't want to be here. We need to maintain the ability to be taller, extend as we get older. Second thing that we should kind of work on as well is just the weight shifting. Okay, so sometimes when people start to not move very well, they almost get a little bit stuck like this because they cannot shift their weight over to take a step, or even just taking a step sideways. You need to shift your weight over before you can take a step out as well. So that's the basics for a lot of movement. It's just the ability to shift our weight side to side. Sometimes we just end up staying like this all the time. And so we work on a little bit of weight shifting as well. Okay, so we're going to exaggerate this a little bit as well for practice. Third thing we kind of need to work on is also just the ability to rotate. So it's just being able to just even turn the entire body side to side. Okay, so we don't walk just forward and back. We need to, when we're standing, it's also a turning type. Okay, and we need to be able to practice this, or we want to maintain this ability to turn. Okay, and the last one is kind of a combination of the previous couple of ones, okay, which is the ability to just actually take a step. Okay, so actually kind of change directions in different ways. Okay, it could be in standing where you actually do take a step. So it's a combination of sitting taller, being able to shift your weight over, being able to rotate, okay, and finally be able to step in those directions as well. Okay, so we're going to start off. This class is going to be slower because it's kind of designed for people who might be a little bit that might not be able to do it as fast like in our other classes. Okay, so first we're going to do is just going to sit maybe just a little bit closer to the edge of the chair. Okay, so we are just going to kind of wash our posture first as well. So we usually, when we slouch, we kind of posterior tilting, which means that the front of our pelvis is rising up. Okay, the back is kind of going down, and then our back kind of slouch. Okay, so first we're going to practice is just kind of, can you pull your belly button forward? Okay, so create that little bit of a curve in your back, and you don't need to be sitting sideways. It's just that easy for to show on camera. Okay, but see if you can just work on a basis of extension first. So kind of slouch your back a little bit. Okay, and as you take it, open up. Okay, try to sit a little taller, pull your belly button a little forward. Okay, you don't need to go all the way up. Okay, but see if you can tilt your pelvis forward a little bit. Okay, and then back down. Okay, so let's do this about 5 times. Okay, so power up. Okay, and 2. Okay, so and up. Okay, for time. And up. Okay, and down. Up. And down. Okay, last time. 5. Okay, so you can kind of breathe in as you come up, You can also use your voice as well. So if you want, you can count out loud with me as you do these type of movements as well. Okay, so let's just sit a little bit taller first. Okay, so you're going to be belly button a little bit more forward. You're going to feel like you're sitting on more of a bony area instead of the kind of the fleshy parts of the back. Okay, feet a little bit wider. Okay, maybe at least armpit width apart. Okay, maybe a little bit wider even. Okay, now I'm going to work on the top a little bit now. Okay, so we are going to be bring our chest up a little bit, shoulders kind of back. You don't need to pull all the way back. Just think of just to the side of the body, but opening the palm. But think of bringing the chest up. Okay, you might feel a little bit of tension into your mid back muscle. Okay, and in the back, you don't need to be like over exaggerated back either. Okay, so it just should be a kind of a natural little bit of a curve in the back. Okay, but then you don't need to exaggerate too much. Okay, but you're going to try to bring your heart up towards the ceiling. Okay, deep breath in as you. So number one, and then breathing back out. Okay, so number two. Okay, and you can just kind of hold. We're going to hold here for a little bit. Okay, for maybe half a second to a second. Okay, and back down. Still trying to stay tall through the pelvis. Okay, and number three. Deep breath in. Think of staying taller. Okay, stable through the feet. Okay, and number four. Number five. Okay, let's do it 10 times. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and you can kind of rest in between. Okay, so you can kind of slouch a little bit, coming back. Okay, but we're going to work on, this is the powering up movement or the extension kind of posture, but see if you can just wide. So once again, you're not squeezing the shoulders back, just widen the shoulders, open at the hands, reaching out. Okay, think of just getting taller. Okay, not necessarily arching back, just taller in general. Okay, so now we're going to combine the two together. Okay, so we're going to go fully extend, fully more slouch, fully more extend. Okay, so let more people in. Okay, we're going to work on also reaching a little bit forward this time. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to breathe out, reach a little bit lower, reach a little bit forward. Okay, and then as we, for the first rep, we're going to go say 1, and then we're going to breathe in, taller. Okay, still widening through the feet. Okay, and breathing out, 2. Okay, hold for a little bit, think of taller again, widen your hands. Okay, and breathing out, okay, 3. Okay, and you don't have to hold your breath, still take a breath in between. Okay, and 4. Okay, you can even just breathe out, breathe in, just working on extension to the back. Okay, and breathing out. Okay, 5. Okay, and 6. 7. 8. 9. Okay, last one, 10. Okay, and once again, relax in between. Okay, so you might feel a little bit of stretch in the arms. Okay, just think of sitting taller. Remember not to overarch your back either. Okay, so just a little bit of curve, not a very exaggerated curve. Okay, think of extending through the upper back, okay, which means bring your chest up, the chest bone up a little bit higher, okay, and not necessarily leaning backwards like this. Okay, just a little bit taller through the chest area. Okay, so now we're going to work on it with our lower body as well. Okay, but let's also work on a little bit of weight shifting front to back first. Okay, so in order to stand up, we need to put weight over feet. Okay, so if you try to have our feet very far forward and we try to stand up, it's pretty much impossible because we cannot shift our weight onto our feet, okay, in order to kind of raise our bum upwards. Okay, so first thing, we still want feet a little wider, still feet kind of a little bit closer to the leg rest. Okay, so we're going to practice shifting more forward this time. Okay, still practicing the power up or power neutral stance. Okay, so we're going to reach forward, moving out. Okay, and one, opening back up again. Okay, and so feet a little closer. So as you shift forward, see if you can feel more weight on your feet. Okay, so a little bit more pressure through the legs. Okay, you're not necessarily standing up, but you feel a little bit more pressure pushing down on the floor. Okay, so be reaching forward. Okay, feel more kind of tension, more pressure on the thigh area. Okay, and back up. Okay, so 3. Okay, back to the neutral stance in between. 4. Okay, spend a little more time here where you have more pressure on your feet. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and relax. Okay, so shoulders might actually be a little high because we're kind of holding up a little bit. If it's too much for you, you don't have to raise it so high up. You could be even just kind of dangling in the side, okay, but still kind of widen through the shoulders a little bit, extend through the mid back, low back as well, but don't over exaggerate the low back area. Okay, and take as much rest as you need in between. Okay, so to let the shoulders take a little bit of a rest, okay, we are going to work on weight shifting a little bit. Okay, so I see one email. I'm just going to quickly check. Okay, so maybe we can just take a very quick break while I just double check for one participant. Okay, you can feel free to kind of practice one more thing if you want. Let's practice it one more time. Okay, so we sent the registration, the confirmation email for another person. Okay, so give me 1 second. So I actually don't see that particular person in the registration. So I can check a little bit later, but let me just do one more. No problem. Okay, so let's kind of feel kind of similar. So before we work on a weight shifting a little bit more front to back onto our feet, okay, let's work on weight shifting a little bit more side to side. Okay, we can call this a rocking movement. Okay, so so if you want to have more chairs around for safety, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, more steady. Okay, but when we do rocking, we still also do it in a taller posture. Okay, still working on practicing extension. Okay, once again, it's not as high as possible, just a little bit taller. Okay, so hands can be still kind of on the side. Okay, feet maybe a little bit wider than our shoulders this time. Okay, so let's just work on a little bit first. Okay, so maybe a little bit side to side. Okay, just shifting our weight, our upper body side to side a little bit. Okay, and you might feel a little more pressure side to side. Maybe on a little more pressure on one side of our bum. Okay, and then the other. Okay, once again, the shoulders are tight. You can just kind of let it hang a little bit. Still just practice a little bit wider for the shoulders. Okay, and if you can, now you can almost try to lift one side up a little bit. Okay, so we don't have to lift it very high. Just imagine just able to slide one piece of paper underneath one bum cheek. Okay, so maybe just 1, 2. Okay, so just try to see if you can go a little bit slightly, so we just even just with free hand, 3. Okay, still staying tall for 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it might feel more pressure on pushing through one feet a little bit more, 1 foot a little bit more. Okay, I think we're somewhere 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so kind of relax in between. Okay, next one, we're going to exaggerate this motion a little bit. Okay, so usually we don't, when we practice, sometimes we move too little. Okay, so practice is not the same as moving and how we move day to day. Practice, we just exaggerate, we might exaggerate certain things just for practice sake. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to have the feet even wider apart. Okay, maybe not too far, the feet not too far out, maybe a little bit closer to the chair. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to actually reach the same area. So if you want to have another chair, even more chairs around, whatever makes you feel safer. Okay, but you're going to reach. Okay, if you can even you're going to put your hand on the elbow on the other side. So be reaching forward. So 1. Okay, you're going to hold for a little bit. Okay, we're going to do 2 pause. Okay, and so it will be like 1, 2. Okay, coming back. Okay, pause as long as you need to in between. If that makes you feel dizzy, just pause for as long as you need to. Okay, and 2. Okay, reach it even further. 2. Coming back to that tall stance. Okay, think of yourself as the, I don't know, the CEO of a company or some sort of gang, and you want to be as wide, as intimidating as possible. Okay, and 3. Okay, and 3. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Okay, and if you can, see if you can slowly just have more faith in your feet, or if you feel comfortable, see if you can just put more pressure on one foot, more pressure on one bum cheek. Okay, so 7, 7, 8, 8. Okay, so still wide for the feet. Your hips may be a little tight by now. 9, 9, 10, 10. Okay, and maybe just relax in between. Okay, if you want, really kind of even say it out loud with me. Okay, so you can just think of really more energy for the body, move with more, not necessarily speed, but more conviction, maybe more force. Okay, so we're intentionally trying to open it up. Okay, and down. So a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger through our stance. Okay, so now let's going back to the forward and back weight shifting. Okay, so what we're gonna do, you might, if you want, just maybe grab more chairs around. If you have trouble standing, that's kind of standing up without any support. Okay, you might want to have just even a chair in front. Okay, maybe even ideally have 2 chairs on the side. So if you want, you can kind of press up through the hands. Okay, so I'm just going to just grab another chair, just so it's more clear. Okay, you don't need to if you are able to just stand up, kind of safely or comfortably. Okay, so it might be easier 2 chairs on the side. Okay, so still feet at least kind of armpit width apart, feet a little bit closer. So what we're going to do is going to reach forward, okay, and imagine you're doing a breaststroke, and as you pull your hands open, actually, if you don't need the chairs, it might get in the way actually. Okay, but as you open, you're going to try to open up and actually stand. Okay, so it might look something like this. So be reaching forward, weight on your feet, okay, and 1. Okay, and as you're going to do the opposite, just coming back down and back down. Okay, so it'll be 2. So it'll be actually reach forward first. Okay, 2. Okay, You have your hands forward for balance. Okay, and coming back. Okay, so there's a weight shift forward onto our feet, and then we're gonna stand up with a little bit of conviction, with more, not necessarily fast, okay, but try to push up. Use our voice to kind of have more energy as well. Okay, so be kind of reaching forward like a breaststroke, like swimming. Okay, and 3. Okay, and reaching forward. 4. Okay, stick your bum out, hands forward, to kind of counterbalance. Okay, and you can kind of rock back in the chair a little bit. Okay, so but always start off kind of extension first. Okay, through our body for our trunk. Okay, and reaching forward. 5. Okay, and slowly lower yourself back down. Okay, just do as many as you feel comfortable. It doesn't have to be 10 times. Okay, but 6. Okay, if you can, just do it kind of well, not necessarily do it a lot. Okay, you don't have to do every single one. Maybe just do every other one if this is difficult for you. Okay, and reaching forward, weight on the legs. 7. Okay, so it's still weight shifting front and back. Okay, so reaching forward, weight on our toes, on the feet. 8. Weight shifting backwards by pushing our bum out, our bum backwards. Okay, reaching forward. 9. Okay, last one. 10. Okay, and shake it off, rest in between. Okay, at any point if you need to, just kind of slide yourself back. Actually, rest in the back rest a little bit. We don't need to be up all the time. Okay, so let's just pause for a second. Okay. So next one, we are just going to be going back to more this side to side shifting a little bit. Okay, so this time we're going to add just a little bit of a maybe step as well. Okay, so let's just have the feet a little bit wider. Actually, let's just work on the shifting first. Okay, so a little bit wider first. Okay, with our kind of hands in front. Actually, sorry, to the side a little bit. Okay, maybe a little more forward. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to work on rotating our trunk. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to just reaching over, and as you reach, as you turn, you probably feel like your weight is shifting over to one side a little bit. So there's more pressure on one butt cheek. Okay, widen your stance as much as you need for balance. So yeah, you feel like you can topple over, widen your stance even more. Okay, just so you feel safe. Have chairs on the side once again. Okay, but kind of hands on the side. Doesn't have to be this high. It could be lower, your shoulders a little tight. Okay, but when you reach, a little bit of turning the body, a little bit of weight shifting. Okay, so at the beginning, start off even smaller range. Okay, so maybe just even shoulder to shoulder. Okay, but feel the weight shift on from one bum cheek to the other. Okay, once again, it could be a little bit lower. Okay, so let's do it 10 times. Let's slowly see if we can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so be 1. Okay, always go back to that wide, tall stance. Okay, that intimidating stance. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, you can notice my feet also can move. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and once again, relaxing your shoulders, relax your back in between as you need to. Okay, couple breaths in and out. Okay, so this one, if you don't need chairs, make sure you do have enough space around. Okay, what we're gonna do is gonna go just a little bit more quickly, a little bit more, I'm not sure if conviction is the right word, but a little bit more force. So we're actually gonna try, it's actually the same thing, but this time just kind of fast enough or move with more enough force to actually clap, coming back out, okay, and clap. So actually turn, so it's not just the hands coming together, it's actually the body turning together. Okay, so focusing on the weight shifting, the weight turning a little bit, okay, and not just the hands. Okay, so you just feel your weight on your body is shifting a little bit, turning a little bit as well. Okay, so we just do this just with a little bit more force. Okay, once again, adjust how wide you're going. Okay, so you don't have to go so far and you don't need to over twist the spine. I mostly want to see more of a hip shift, of a weight shift going on. Okay, so if this is as far as you feel comfortable doing, that's great. Okay, but move through the hips, weight shifting, turning, okay, not just twisting through the spine. Okay, so finding our power stance. Okay, could we adjust the legs forward or back, whatever is more comfortable. Okay, so just a little bit more force, so be 1. Hold it back up. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, and if you feel comfortable, look where you're turning as well. If it makes you feel dizzy, just maybe keep looking forward. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and coming back and relaxing. Okay, so just moving with more conviction. Okay, and again, relax in between. Okay, we're going to carry this over to maybe a little bit standing. Okay, so once again, have as much support as you need. Okay, but once again, let's power up. So we're going to be, once again, wishing forward. Okay, and up. Okay, so give us a second to get used to the standing position. Make sure you have enough space around, enough safety, enough support around. Okay, so standing, we don't necessarily have to stand so kind of feet together. It's a little bit harder to balance this way. Okay, but maybe at least armpit width apart. Okay, toes will be pointing out a little more slightly to the side. Okay, makes it easier to stay balanced. Okay, so we're going to work on just the weight shifting again. Okay, from but in a standing position. Okay, so once again, you can just have the much support you need to first. Maybe this one, if it's too wide, it's a little more difficult. So maybe just slightly wider than hip width. Okay, so just work on shifting your weight side to side. Okay, it could be just a little bit at the beginning. Okay, where you just lift one heel slightly off the floor. Okay, when you feel comfortable, just see if you can maybe really shift your weight over. So I'm bringing my hips a little bit closer to one chair. I feel more pressure through one foot as I shift towards that leg. Okay, and I'm still working on that kind of intimidating stance. I need a better name for this, but kind of wide shoulders. Okay, chest tall. Okay, standing tall. Okay, we're maintaining this kind of good posture as I shift my weight side to side. Okay, we exaggerate this a little bit. Okay, we also have the feet maybe even slightly wider. Okay, I'm going to reach, shifting my weight, even if you need to have a support on this side. Reach, coming back. Okay, 2. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 pulses. Going to be 2. Okay, so we're going to really get used to actually putting weight on that leg instead of just kind of touch and go. Okay, really practice moving that weight onto that on one side. Okay, so we go 2 pulses, so we're 3. Okay, and reach a little further, 3. 4. 4. Okay, so try to really reach over. 5. 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Okay, and coming back in. Okay, that's coming back down, so make sure the chair's behind you, find the chair rest. Okay, respect. Okay, just giving us a pause. Okay, rest as long as we need to. Okay, so once again, make sure I'm just checking enough space. Okay, so next one, we actually exaggerate the rotation even more. We're actually going to move our feet a little bit more now. Okay, so let's start off with just legs. Okay, so this one you can either, if you want, you can just have your hands free, or if you want, you can also just grab the back of the chair if you find it feels a little more stable for you, a little safer for you. Okay, but what we're going to do is we are just going to be stepping out, stepping back in, stepping back in. Okay, so if you don't need your hands, you can just kind of open up with the hands as well. Okay, and from side to side. Okay, so it'll be let's let's make it a little more complicated. Let's coordinate a little bit. So it'll be leg, leg. Okay, and then arm, arm. Okay, and then legs first again, and then arms first. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then just back it with both sides together. Okay, so it'll be 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and back together. Actually, you know what? We're going to do the 4 counts as well. So it'll be 1, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so move with a little bit of force again. Kind of be sure as well. So and still try to stay a little bit taller throughout. Okay, so it's still a little wider. Okay, so we 5, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and really try to open up. So maybe not. We don't want to be like here as we open up. Really try to open up as far as you can. Be as intimidating as you can. Okay, so use your voice as well. Okay, so be 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I get confused with the timing as well. Okay, so rest in between. Okay, we can just do this one more time. Okay, really try to open again a little bit more. Okay, also try to switch which leg you start with. So for me, you notice that 1 is always this leg, and then 2 is always this leg. Okay, see if you can do the opposite this time. So I'm going to start with my right leg, and then my left, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so just give everyone a second first. Okay, so exact same thing as what we did, but starting off with the other leg first. Okay, but still try to open up, power up. Once again, if you're not arching like this, you just stand taller, a little wider. Okay, so it'll be still 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. You can even look where you're going. So 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 3, 4, 10, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and coming back. Okay, once again, relax in between a little bit more. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Next, we're gonna go back and standing. We're gonna work on just rotation of the body again. Okay, a little bit more exaggerated this time. Okay, so once again, use as much support as you need. Shift your weight over your feet. Power up. Give ourselves some time to adjust. So usually kind of moving our feet can help a little bit to help our blood pressure kind of catch back up. Okay, so this one, either if you feel comfortable, have your hands out to the side, or have the hands maybe at least slightly touching the chair, so you have a little bit of support. Okay, completely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so feet, once again, maybe a little bit wider than hip width. Okay, toes pointing out a little bit. Okay, so what we're gonna do is exact same thing as we did in the turning in the sitting. Okay, we're just gonna turn, okay, and try to touch the hands together, coming back out. Okay, and same thing, the other side. Okay, notice how my feet also turns a little bit. Okay, so toes, it might be easier to start off toes pointing out, and you're just gonna turn so that both feet point in the same direction as where you're looking, where your hands are. Okay, once again, you can start off a little bit slower first, a little bit smaller motion first. Okay, but let's try it with a little bit more force. Okay, so move intentionally side to side so that you can get maybe a little bit of a clap in between. Okay, so let's check it out first. Okay, so always power up first. It's nice and tall, nice and wide. Okay, so be 1. Breathing in, once again wide. Okay, don't struck the shoulders, so shoulders kind of away from the ears. Okay, even though the shoulders are a little wider. 2. Okay, open it back up. You can breathe back in as you do so, or just breathe in any way you like. 3. 4. 5. 6. Okay, if you feel comfortable, you have your hands a little higher. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and relax in between. Okay, and let's come back down again. Okay, let me just check time. Okay, so we still have a little bit of time to get into the stepping part. Okay, so we're going to work on the stepping again, but this time instead of kind of both legs kind of going out in different directions, okay, we're going to have it go in the same direction. Okay, so it'll be just to demonstrate first, you're stepping out, bring your legs together. Okay, so which is why it might be a little easier if your chair doesn't have an armrest. Okay, if you feel it might feel more comfortable, more safe to have your hands kind of still touching the chair. Okay, you can also just if your hands are long enough and if chairs, you can just kind of do kind of hold on like this as well. Okay, so up to you. Just find something that works for you, and still you're gonna have a tendency to slouch a little backwards. Okay, just as much as we feel comfortable, just be a little bit taller throughout. Okay, so we're still working on extension of our body. Finger putting your head on top of your shoulders and your shoulders on top of your hips. Okay, so hands once again, whatever you need to do to feel safe doing this. Okay, but we're gonna go 1, 2 out. Okay, and then back in. Okay, and then 2, 2 on the other side, back in. We're just actually gonna go 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So 4 counts will be 1, 2 out, 3, 4 back in. Okay, and we're gonna switch between the two sides. Okay, slowly see if we can exaggerate the motion again. So once again, you can start off with this kind of smaller step. Okay, but when you feel comfortable, move bigger motion. Okay, move with more conviction. Okay, so you can stomp the floor a little bit if you want to. Okay, and once again, hands can be just wherever. Okay, so be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just in between, sometimes you might slide around and share a little bit. Okay, 2, 2, 3, 4. readjust again if you need to. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. Last 3 times. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and relax in between. Okay, so it's being able to shift our weight, being a turn, and also coordinate our feet to move in that direction as well. Okay, so even if we feel more comfortable doing this sitting down, or we can't do it for too long standing up, this is still practice. Okay, but when we practice, we want to exaggerate a little bit, exaggerate the movement so that we are kind of really moving through our range, the range that we have. Okay, and we're really shifting our weight, we're really rotating our body. Okay, so, and we're not kind of stuck in kind of one place. Okay, so we want to be able to move forward and back, side to side, turning, okay, and also move our feet along as well. Okay, so we're going to maybe we'll just finish off with one last one, okay, which is just the same thing but standing upwards. Okay, so just do our best. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable, maybe take smaller steps, use as much support as you need to. Okay, but once again, let's stand back up first. So adjust our posture. Okay, shift our weight over our leg, power up. Okay, and once again, give ourselves a little bit of time to adjust. Okay, so this one, use as much hand support as you need to. Okay, sometimes sitting for too long, a lot of these sitting exercises, the problem is that it's very difficult to sit tall, and it's impossible sometimes not to over arthritis. So doing exercise in sitting for too long is actually harder on the spine compared to standing. Okay, so it's sometimes good to just kind of shift, go between sitting and standing, even for a little bit. Okay, so using as much hand support as we need to. Okay, we're gonna go step. Okay, just work on one step first. Okay, so don't worry about the second step first. Okay, so be just stepping out. Okay, look where you're going. Okay, and coming back. Okay, slowly see if you can move with more conviction. So really intentionally take a step and not just kind of fall over. So try to step and step back. Okay, so use a little more force. Okay, really intend to lift your leg up, intend to have to step out, intend to turn. Okay, same thing on the way backwards. Okay, and adjust support as you need. Okay, so let's do 10 times first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If it makes you dizzy, maybe just keep looking slightly forward. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you can add a little bit of a stop. 8, 9, 10. Okay, and relax in between. Okay, so we might be moving a little more. We might be kind of doing quite a bit today. Okay, but let's kind of just try the second step as well. So first step exactly the same, still stepping out. Okay, use your hands. This time maybe bring your hands a little closer if you need to. Okay, and at the second step where you're facing the same direction. Okay, and 3, 4, just coming back to the middle again. Okay, second round is still 2, 2. Okay, you can even move your hands over if that's more comfortable. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, once again, move with intention. Okay, so pause in between, relax, shake out if you need to. Okay, and when you're ready, power up. Okay, so taller, wider. Okay, so be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it doesn't have a big step. If you feel comfortable, you can do bigger step, of course. So be like 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so adjust how big the motion according to your ability. Okay, so 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4. Okay, even lift your leg up a little high if you feel comfortable. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. So just reminding myself to be tall. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. And relax in between. Okay, so I think let's maybe stop here for today. So we kind of covered quite a bit of the 4 kind of basic, kind of basic movement you can call it, or just things we want to practice. Okay, so just to review, the first one is that we don't want to be here. At least we want to be able to power up, okay, where we can fight against gravity, lift our trunk up. Okay, think of yourself as tall, as wide as possible. Okay, so and not kind of here. Okay, we want to be a little bit stronger, a little bit, and even just this alone can sometimes help people with how they feel. So when we're here, we tend to feel a little bit weaker, we feel a little bit slower, maybe even a little bit sad. Okay, whereas if you can get yourself nice and wide, okay, use your voice, kind of comments out loud, say things out loud, you suddenly may feel even more awake that way as well. Okay, but sometimes be careful not to just kind of arch your back like this. Okay, so just a natural curve. Feel the sit bone, just really sitting on a piece of bone. Okay, chest tall, shoulders a little wider. Okay, so that's number one, kind of extension. Okay, just you can think of it posture as well. Okay, second one is just the weight shifting or the rocking. Okay, so we can be walking forward and back. Okay, so we kind of need that to be able to stand up. Again, sit back down. Okay, we're still maintaining that strong posture as you go forward and back. Okay, I'm not kind of doing this. I'm putting more weight on my leg so that I can stand up if I want to. Okay, and going back, back and forth. Okay, we can be rocking side to side. Okay, anytime we take a step, we need to be shifting our weight side to side a little bit. Okay, so this should be rocking side to side. Okay, we need to be able to turn as well. Okay, so we need to be able to rotate, not just through the spine, okay, through the hips, okay, and a little bit through the legs as well. So we work on being able to turn, the clapping motion. Okay, you can do the same thing, kind of standing up. Okay, so that's the turning motion that we need to, we want to be able to maintain this. A lot of people fall when they turn. Okay, we need to be able to turn side to side, and we don't want to be kind of stuck here and then we end up kind of shuffling our feet almost because we cannot shift our weight between 2 feet. Okay, and the extension of that is just a stepping. Okay, so just be able to actually turn, okay, instead of, once again, there's kind of the shuffling part, okay, but moving with more conviction, okay, be able to turn intentionally. Okay, you can do the same thing with sitting. Okay, so we would actually turn our body and then move our feet so we can, you can think of it as catching ourselves, okay, but actually go in that direction. So we turn without moving our feet, we're just still stuck kind of facing this way. Okay, we need to turn our body, move our feet so that we end up facing kind of different directions. Okay, so kind of basic, so a few basic things we work on. A lot of the class, even the later class, is going to be similar. It might be just variations of these 4 things that we want to practice, so we can still kind of move around more easily as we get maybe a little bit older. Okay, so thank you for coming, everyone. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm still here. Okay, but take care, everyone. Hope it's useful. If not for yourself, maybe for other people you know. Bye-bye. You too.